much as possible that you include either an image or a video. It's just going to get better reach. People are going to pay attention to it a lot more. If you are doing a link out, at least make sure that that link pulls in your image from your website, your blog. And then know your target audience. This one just is basic marketing across all platforms. Know your target audience. If you're on Facebook and you're trying to reach a certain audience, what tone of speech should you be using? Some people can get away with dropping all sorts of foul language, and that audience loves it. And some other audience would just be like, oh, this is awful, I don't want to hear that. Know what images they like. Know what time of day that they're going to be online. It also will come, of course, in handy if you're going to do Facebook ads, because you can drill down very specifically to a target audience. They have so many different ways that you can look at, gender, age, whether it's a parent, where they live, what their financial status is, all of that. If you are going to do ads, make sure that you promote posts that link back to your site. If you're going to spend money, it's not really worth spending money on going to someone else's site. So as much as possible, make sure it links back to your site, your product, or if it is going to someone else's site, hopefully they're talking about you or promoting something that has to do with you. View your insights page. So if you have a business profile on Facebook, it will tell you so much data about what is happening with your posts. It'll tell you, how many people are clicking on things. It'll tell you when you get comments on things, but it will also tell you more information like how many men versus women are looking at your posts. It'll tell you what time of day people are visiting your site the most. It will tell you where they're coming from. So there's so many different ways that you can look at the insights and better tailor when you're going to post and who your target audience is through looking at those insights. Post several times per week, trending towards late afternoon and evening. Now, I put an asterisk by that because that's kind of a general rule. But again, going back to your target audience, if your target audience is usually online from midnight to 2 a.m., that's when you want to post. So just be cognizant of when they do. But if you're just trying to kind of reach a general audience, that's a good rule of thumb. And then finally, engage with your fans. If someone writes a comment, make sure you get back to them, acknowledge it, or if they ask a question, answer it. Because if you have, all these comments out there and then no one's responding, they're kind of like, well, why do I bother? I'm not going to come back here. They're not helping me. Okay, so now we are going to go over to Instagram. So this is the one that I do. Facebook and Instagram are really the ones that I spend the most time on. So there's over 1 billion users now on Instagram. And the key audience is still kind of the 13 to 35-year-old range, but more and more it's starting to trend upwards. So you're getting people a little bit older that are getting onto Instagram as well. So don't totally rule it out if you have an older audience. 200 million users visit at least one business profile daily. 60% of users discover new products on Instagram, and I know I'm guilty of that. I get a lot of ads through Instagram now and have been tempted and have purchased things that I've seen on Instagram. It's also a highly visual way to showcase your business, and we'll talk about that later, that you can't post anything on Instagram if there's not either a photo or a video. And then creating ads is quick, easy, and inexpensive on Instagram. Okay, so like I said, the target audience, the main audience on there is the 13 to 35, but it is trending up still. And then if you are using Instagram and you want it to promote your business, your blog, then use a business profile versus a personal profile. And if you look on this screenshot, this is someone's profile, and you'll see that they have call, email, and directions on there. and that is because it's a business profile. Personal profile does not have those links on there. A business profile will also allow you to do ads. If you have a personal profile, you can't do an ad. And then it will also, let's see, what was the other thing? I can't remember what the other thing was. Oh, you'll get insights, sorry. Similar to Facebook, you will get insights on all of your posts, and they also give you some good information about the time of day that people are on there, how many website clicks that you got from your account. So it's really good if you have a business profile to look at all that stuff because it can inform you about what your users like so you can create more of that content. And then use your bio area wisely. So on here you can see that Tiffany Alexi Realtor. So she put that she's a CEO, she does residential sales, property management, investor. Apparently she has a Tesla. She lives in Raleigh, and then you see her link to her website and her address. Using emojis on Instagram is favored, so if on your bio you can add a few emojis in there, people like that. And then the only link that is available to you within all of Instagram is that little link right there under Raleigh. So in your posts, there are no live links. So if you're used to doing, say a blog post and putting the link right there, that's not gonna work for you on Instagram. You will need to have a photo, and then you can talk about it, and then you could put the actual link to the specific blog there and say link in bio, but you can't link out on Instagram posts. That's the one part that people don't like. Yes?
Can you put the website on the photo, embedded in the photo? I won't click on it, obviously, but the address would be there.
You could put the address, it won't be live though.
Right.
Yeah, you can do that. Let's see, so when you want to get more followers, most people will follow, you can follow someone and they can follow you back, but they don't always follow you back. And I get a lot of people that follow me and I won't follow them back because their content is not interesting to me. There's many, many ways that you can get followers. There's hashtags. I could talk to you for this whole 40 minutes about getting followers, but that's one of the most basic ways, just to follow people and try and get them to follow you back. Other ways, just use really beautiful imagery or provide really great content that people want and are looking for. And then you can use up to 30 hashtags on your post, and people will find you in the hashtag hub via those hashtags. I don't usually recommend using a total of 30 on there. That's a lot. But if you can research and find some really good ones to add, maybe 9 or 10 in the comment below your caption, that's a really good way to get your content found by other people. I also suggest that you tag the location that you're in because people can search that way as well. You can tag the people in your photos, or if you use specific products, you can tag those as well, and that can extend your reach. Just be careful not to just go on a tagging frenzy, because I've been tagged in photos before that I'm not even in, and they're just trying to get my attention, and that's really spammy and annoying, so don't do that. Okay, a little bit more about Instagram. You can promote posts to get them in front of your target audience. This picture that I have right here shows exactly what an ad would look like, so it would have a learn more. This is the workaround, actually, if you want a link. If you do an ad, you can have a link with your post. So you're paying for that link, but if it's that important to you, you might want to do that. The process for putting together an ad is pretty simple. You can do it all, on your phone. It's just a few quick clicks after you've already posted your information. So they make it really easy and nice. You can view your insights page to gather more data about how your promotion did, or how just your posts are doing in general. And then my next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about Instagram stories. BTS is behind the scenes, so a lot of people use Instagram stories for kind of their quick and dirty stuff. They'll make their profile page look really nice and beautiful, but then the Instagram stories, they'll just kind of, do quick sound bites or behind the scenes or something that's a lot more casual and not as staged. You can also start a show on IGTV. So has anyone heard of IGTV? Has anyone used it yet? Okay, so IGTV is Instagram's, it's kind of their solution to YouTube. So you can do like a web show on IGTV and house it through Instagram and share it that way. Finally, you can engage with your fans via comments versus likes. So what I mean by that is, you can engage by having likes or by comments, but a comment is worth more than a like, I think, because I might post something and then I'll have, say, 80 people like it. Well, I don't notice as much who's liking it, but if I have 5 people that comment and they comment with something that's more than just nice pic, it's something that, I can tell they actually read my comment and they write a sentence, then I might go to their page and look at it and see what they're all about. So if you can spend the time to write comments on other people's profiles and their pictures, then you're going to get a lot more followers back as well. Okay, and then Instagram stories, I touched on this a little bit. Instagram stories was basically a rebuff from Snapchat by Instagram, and that launched at the end of 2016. They saw how popular that Snapchat was, and they kind of wanted in on that game. And it's a separate part within Instagram. And if you can see the little bubbles up top, that's how you would view someone's Instagram stories, and then it opens up vertically so you can see their story. It expires in 24 hours, so that's one of the reasons why a lot of people will use it as more of a casual or behind-the-scenes thing, because it's not sticking around. And there's no comments or likes on that section. You can only do direct messages. So a lot of times you won't get as much interaction on the stories, but you can see who's viewed your story, which is kind of interesting. I always like to see who's viewed my story, because then I know, oh, they actually did see that. The Instagram stories area does have several other fun things. There's stickers, and there's boomerang where you can take a video and go forward and backward, and there's all sorts of fun little extras within Instagram stories. So it's definitely a fun thing to check out. Okay, so we're going to move on really quickly to Twitter. So Twitter, share thoughts, news, ideas, jokes in 280 characters or less. So it used to always be 140, and within the last year they doubled that. So you have a little bit more space to write things and have links and all of that, so it's kind of nice. You can keep tabs on people, celebrities, industry news, politics, and then trends often occur when people will tweet about the same topic, and often they'll use a hashtag with that, and you can join in on that conversation using that same hashtag, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. People tend to follow a lot more people on Twitter, so just be aware your message is going to get replaced pretty quickly. So often people will tweet more than they would on, say, like Instagram or Facebook. They might do more within a day, because that information just gets lost quickly. Okay, so that right there is an example of a tweet that includes a photo. And then just some important lingo to know on Twitter. I think if you've used Twitter at all, you're probably familiar with most of these. A Twitter post is a tweet. If you're going to resend someone else's information, it's a retweet, or they'll usually put an RT before it. The feed is just the main area where you would see everyone that you're following. You'll see all of their tweets there. Your handle is, so like I am at marketing_gal is my handle. And then a mention is when you use the @ before their handle, and then they'll see that information. a direct message. Most all of the platforms have an area, a direct message area, where you can send things that are going to be private messages and aren't going to be seen by every other user out there that's following you. Hashtags, we've talked about, and then followers, just like any other platform, they all have followers. So some of the best practices, obviously the limit is 280 characters, so try and keep your tweets to less than 280 characters. And avoid too many abbreviations. I think this has gotten a little bit better since they upped it from 140 to 280, but sometimes it's like you can't even understand what they're trying to say because everything's all abbreviated. And then I always use bit.ly as a link shortener. It's really handy, not only on Twitter, but on other places as well. So you can shorten your link if it's this long. Just copy and paste it into bit.ly and it'll give you one that's this long. And it just saves space and makes it look a lot less messy. Add pictures, add photos, video as much as possible. It just gets your tweet to stand out a little bit more. Add your insight to trending hashtags. So if there is a hashtag out there and it somehow maybe relates to your industry or your business, see how you can get in on that conversation and talk about it, and you never know, you might start trending yourself. And then like here, there's usually an event hashtag, and it's a great way to either meet other attendees, find out what's going on. I've been to conferences where they say, they use that conference hashtag and say, hey, we're gonna have a quick meeting after this session about A, B, and C. And by following that hashtag, you can find out more information. And then on Twitter, they do have promoted tweets that are available for ads. I don't see these used quite as much as Facebook or Instagram, but they're definitely out there. And if your audience is on Twitter, it could be a valuable option for you. What a lot of people don't realize is that Twitter also has an analytics area. And Twitter is one of the only ones that doesn't offer a business account. It's just all the accounts are the same. They don't have personal and business. But you can check all of your analytics through there, and it will tell you, how many people have seen your tweets, how many people have liked it, comments, all of that. And then if you do a promoted tweet, it'll also give you information on that. Okay, so whipping through to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn obviously is the business platform. It's where you should be managing your professional identity and your resume. And I've really built up my professional network using LinkedIn. I got one of my biggest clients using LinkedIn, so it can be a very valuable tool. So just some of the best practices on there. LinkedIn has a pretty robust bio area, and they even have kind of a rating system to show you exactly how fully complete you have completed it. So try and get that fully complete with it. And all your resume information. If you are a graphic designer, then they have a portfolio area. You can add, your latest designs on there. Make sure you select a professional photo of yourself. I've seen some, unless you're a comedian or some profession that lends itself to being more casual and silly, try to be professional on there. And again, it is a business platform, so it's not the place that you want to post the pictures of your kids and your dog and funny memes. People are there to exchange information about business. Now on LinkedIn, you can post photos, video, or links. You could also just post, a simple sentence with no link as well, but it's closer to Facebook in the way that it functions. You have all that functionality to post any of those things. And then connect with past or current work connections, if you do any volunteering, if you are in, if you go to this conference, say, and meet people, you might want to connect with them on LinkedIn. And I don't usually suggest just accepting everyone's request, because I get a lot of requests, and it's just not necessary to say yes to everybody, so don't feel obligated if they have nothing in common with you. And I get a lot of requests from people in different industries that are just trying to sell me something, so just be aware of that before accepting someone's request. They do offer company profiles and personal profiles. If you have a business and you want the business to have its own LinkedIn page, that is available. They do have a lot of ad opportunities, and that's something that I'm starting to look into more with some of my clients, because it's underutilized. So a lot of people are using, the Facebook and the Instagram ads, but not as many are taking advantage of LinkedIn, so it isn't as saturated as some of the other ones. They also have a lot of other business products available. They have a whole learning section that has webcasts and all sorts of slides on there that you can learn about different topics for business. Some groups that go with your industry, because it's a great way to connect with others that might have some great information for you. ProFinder, has anyone used ProFinder before? Yeah, so I signed up for that probably about a year ago, and I get some great leads off that. So ProFinder is an area where if you're a service provider, you can explain what you do, where you are, and then people looking for that service will send out something through ProFinder. So I get maybe 3 or 4 a month looking for someone that's a social media marketing person. So that might be something that you want to look into. The salary information, I haven't really looked at that one yet, so I'm not exactly sure. I'm just assuming it gives you research on the salaries of different professions. And then SlideShare, that's where this presentation will be. It's a great place to upload slides from presentations, and then you can look at other people's presentations as well, as long as they're set to public. So I've gotten some great information from SlideShare. Okay, moving on to the last one, which is Pinterest. So who's using Pinterest to promote their blog? Okay, a few of you. Pinterest, surprisingly enough, is a great traffic resource. And I admit I haven't used Pinterest much more than kind of the cliche recipes and that kind of thing, but it can be a really good traffic builder, so we'll look into that a little bit more. But in general, it's a place to discover ideas for your projects, interests, and it's handpicked by you. So what you do is you create a board. So those are 2 of my boards: favorite recipes and good hair. So once I have a board created, I can find information out there and create a pin and add that pin to my board. And then later, if I'm looking for, say, a recipe, I can go back and look at all my pins and select one that I like. And then a repin is when a user adds a pin to their own board. They may see your pin and repin it. And these repinning things, that's where a lot of people are getting some of their traffic from. So yeah, it's not just for recipes, crafts, and wedding planning like it first started off as. When you are pinning, if you are going to use it for your business, make sure you research the keywords that you use on the top of your pin, because that's how people are finding you, is through these keywords. So do some digging and figure out which keywords are going to work best for you. And then you must have a high resolution image or video. They do accept video, and it needs to be that 2:3 ratio size. So most pins are like this. And create pins that are inspiring and actionable for your target audience. And always include a link in your pin. That's how you're going to get the traffic. So I know even something as simple as a recipe, a lot of times they'll have a really gorgeous photo of cupcake or whatever it is, and then they'll show the ingredients, but to figure out how to make it, you have to click the link. So so doing that kind of a teaser and then having the link is a great way to get more traffic. They do offer business profiles, and they're platform for ads is called Promoted Pins, and they do give you Pinterest analytics to look at as well. So with all of these platforms and their analytics, the key to your marketing is the data. If you can dig into that data and figure out what's working and then replicate it, then you're going to have a lot more success. Once you claim your website on Pinterest, it's going to unlock those analytics, a business logo, more early access to tools, and more options. And then if you want to, if you're going to start pinning a lot of other things, they have a little pin browser button that you can just put on there. And then if you're searching the web and you see something really cool that you want to put on one of your boards, you can just tap that and it'll create a pin for you. And then they also say to pin consistently. So if you're going to start using this as a traffic builder, instead of batching all of your content and throwing it out there, once a month, that you should be pinning, every day, every couple days, because Pinterest likes that new content, and you're going to do better on Pinterest with the new content. Okay, so with all of these different networks, if you are trying to post out on every single one and going out to each one every day, that's a lot. So there are several third-party apps that can help you with this, that will allow you to post from one place, schedule things out, curate content, promote it through there, monitor, analyze all of that. So the top ones that I suggest, I use Hootsuite. I also use one for one of my clients that's kind of an enterprise, larger thing called Sprinkler. That's really robust. But Meet Edgar, Buffer, Sprout Social, Agorapulse, all of those are great. They have really good functionality. They differ in cost, but I've included all the links in there so you can take a look at the different ones and how it might benefit you. One thing, it is a huge time saver, but you need to remember that each network is slightly different. So if you think, oh, I'm just going to create this one photo and this one post, and I'm going to click, click, click to all the different platforms, it's not going to work well for you because, say you do an Instagram post, and so you're not going to put a link on there, but then you really want a link out when you're on LinkedIn, then you need to alter them accordingly. So just be aware it's not just a one and done. You need to make sure you're sizing things appropriately and linking when it's appropriate and not linking when it's not. Okay, so this is the WordPress social media plugins. I'm not going to go into every single one of them, mostly because we don't have time, but if you do download this presentation, all of those are linked in there, and then there's notes underneath on my presentation that has little bullet points about what each of them does, because I've got 3 pages of them. So there's a lot, and we just don't have time to go through every single one of them. But hopefully with the notes that are in the presentation at the bottom, you can figure out which one will work best for you. And then, all those links are live. And that is all that I have. So I'll put up my info. And does anybody have questions? Okay.
What's the story? So, why would people use stories when they expire in 24 hours? I never understood that. It seems like a lot of effort to create content that just goes away.
Yeah, well, I think personally I like it because it does go away. I don't have to put a lot of time and energy into it. So people are going out to stories quite a bit, and I'm getting views on things that I've just, like I might be here and snap a quick photo of something and throw it out there. And it's just a kind of moment in time. And I didn't have to edit it and write a whole thing about it. So that's what people like. And I think because Instagram is so, your profiles, a lot of people take it so seriously and it's so perfect that this is kind of their little, area where they can be a little bit more loose and just throw something out there really quick and still get some views. So, this one over there. You can yell.
I'll try to yell. So what's the deal with the Instagram hashtags when they put like a big long space and then they put all the hashtags?
Yeah, so there's, so what she asked, if you couldn't hear her, she said, what's the deal on Instagram when people will put a big long space and then they put a bunch of hashtags? So there's kind of two ways that people do hashtags. One is they'll put the hashtag in the comment below the caption to keep it clean, and the other way is what you're talking about. So what they're doing is they're basically just trying to keep all those junky looking hashtags out of the way. So what I tell people if they don't want to do